Hey guys, I want to share with you one of the most important, powerful, biggest things to learn about life that I'm ever going to be able to communicate with you. And this has to do very specifically with your passions in life, the things that you have some love for, you have some interest in, you have a deep-seated desire to explore or to do or to make good on. This is a huge factor in life, what I'm about to describe to you, because unfortunately, as we go out there in the world, we bump up upon many other human beings that have a way of judging us for following our passions. And they make us second guess ourselves. They make us deter our pursuits at various points in time. They make us almost feel bad or feel wrong or feel silly for pursuing the things that we really have a deep down love and desire to do in our lives. And these could be big things, they could be small things, but the very sad reality, as I said, is that every single one of us is going to have these instances where you go out in the world and you're sharing a little bit with people about what you are passionate about, what you are doing with yourself, and you'll get a lot of judgment, as I said, from all sorts of sources. You'll get it from random people on the internet. You'll get it from friends around you. You'll get it from coworkers. You'll get it from, sadly, your own family, your own flesh and blood. You'll get people that judge you for pursuing the things that you love doing. And maybe to somebody else it seems silly what you're doing, but this happens so much. They'll make fun of you, or they'll shame you, or they'll try to knock you down, or try to judge specifically what it is you're doing, because they think it's never going to succeed, or they think it's not worth your time, or they think it's a waste of time, or they, as I said, they think it's ridiculous or silly. The sad reality is, I cannot wrap my head around these concepts about what goes through other people's minds when they're out there doing and saying these things to other people, and why they do them. But I have rationed a couple things about this, or actually one very big thing, and this is really the meat of what I'm trying to communicate with you today, because once you understand a little bit about why they say and do the things to you in the face of these sorts of situations that I'm describing, I think this is the part that's going to make you a lot more powerful. This is the part that is going to enable you to not be affected by their words and actions and judgments and all this kind of stuff. And this is going to be something I think it's going to make you invincible. And once you are able to put on this coat of armor of invincibility, if you want to say, whereby you can just see right through their words and let all that negative energy just roll right off you, and doesn't even take a step out of your march, you'll be a lot better off in life, and you'll be better at just going after what you want and doing the things you want and forgetting about what other people have to say about it, right? So I'm wasting a lot of time here probably, but the biggest thing that is present in a person that judges you in this fashion is the fact that they are jealous. Big word there, jealousy, right? Now, they're either jealous of the thing that you're doing for some reason, because maybe it's something that they really always wanted to do and they haven't been able to do it yet, or they're not doing it right now, or they have envy for you, essentially, right? Envy for what you're doing with your life for some reason, right? That's a jealousy, an element of jealousy. And the second really big one that stands out to me is the fact that they're jealous a lot of times that you actually have the courage to go out and do something bold, to explore something new, to be courage to do something that you know other people out there might think you're crazy or ridiculous or silly for trying, but you have courage to do those things, and they're jealous of the fact that you have that courage and they don't have it about themselves, and they know deep down that for whatever reason, they've held themselves back. So, they're in their minds, they're like, well, I've held myself back, from my whole life from doing or trying these things. And because of that, like nobody else around me should be able to succeed, or nobody else around me, like theoretically, should be able to do these things. But it all boils down to courage, like I said, and a lack thereof on their part. And this is the jealousy showing its head, right, in these situations. And something that always struck me when I finally had this realization about life, and all of these things, this mindset took me years to develop, just to not care what other people thought about my pursuits and my passions, and just to go after them with vigor and without the deterrence or allowing myself to be influenced by those around me that had judged me in the past. But as I said, I've gone through life, and I can very clearly pick out people and their types of behaviors when I share some of my passions or share a little bit about what I'm doing or what I'm pursuing. People that don't judge you, or people that aren't jealous of you, they will always react in a positive manner. You'll tell them what you're doing, and they'll say something positive, like, hey, that's awesome. That sounds really cool what you're doing. Like, good luck with that. Like, that's fantastic for you. But the ones that are jealous of you, the rhetoric from them is oftentimes it's the negative stuff, right? Like, oh, you're never going to succeed. That's crazy. You look stupid doing that. You look silly. What the hell are you doing with your time? You're wasting your life. You're wasting time trying X, Y, Z, right? In those two instances, I hope that you can see the contrast there. And it's just such a profound and big one that's not really easy to see, I think, until you really step back and contemplate this concept about the jealousy factor on part of these folks that do judge you in this fashion for doing what you love doing. And at the end of the day, like, why do you care what somebody else is doing with their life, right? Like, let them do what they love doing, or they want to do, or they want to explore. Like, who are any of us to say that, something that they're interested in is stupid or silly or ridiculous? I mean, that's ridiculous in and of itself, to go out there and cast judgment upon other human beings in such a fashion. And, like, I'm not saying that, if people are out there hurting people or spreading negative energies themselves, okay, there's some understandable justification for judgment in those instances, of course. But I'm just talking about these instances where, like I said, we've all got these little things inside of us that we've always wanted to do, or we've always wanted to try. And we know it's kind of like pushing outside of the bounds of who we are in this present day and what people know about us, and to kind of encroach upon those boundaries would seem to others to be strange, or to be weird, or to be silly, like I said. But forget about all that. Like, just learn to embrace what I'm saying here. Learn to understand that when people judge you, it just means they're jealous. And once you have that realization, you can just see right through it, and you won't be affected by their words and what they do and say anymore. You don't even care. You're just like, hey, I'm trucking along here. Like, I'm marching towards like something else in my life, something greater. And I don't care what you have to say about it. And if you really truly loved me and cared about me in my life, like, you wouldn't treat me this way, or you wouldn't act this way toward me when I'm sharing these small bits and pieces of my passions that you didn't know I had before, or seem like they're out of left field, or whatever they are. It's just it's such a big element to wrap your head around here. I hope this all makes sense to you. And I furthermore would say that sometimes we can't completely separate ourselves from these types of people in our lives. Like, if it's an immediate family member or something, of course, this is a little bit more difficult to cope with. But if anybody else outside of that, like, try to distance yourself in life from the people that are judgmental and jealous of you, right? It's only going to serve to drag you down and hold you back and cloud over your radiant passions, whatever they are in life that you're trying to let shine out into the world, your creative elements, all these things. Like, separate yourself from those people. Don't spend as much time around them. Make an intentional, definitive effort to not allow them in your presence, or to be there in such a big way to have the opportunity to judge you and do all these things, and gravitate towards those people that were what I described before. Like, hey, you tell them some passion you're exploring, something new that you're doing, and they congratulate you. They pat you on the back. They say, hey, they pump you up. They support you in what you're doing. That's who you need to spend more of your time around. And those elements, and I think all this stuff has this sort of, it has a momentum about itself. And the more time you can spend around those types of positive people that aren't the jealous ones of you, that encourage you, your passions and the things you have love for and you want to explore in your life, it just has this big snowballing effect where it's going to grow a lot faster than the alternative, where you're constantly just around these people that are judging you and they're jealous of you, quite literally, for trying to do these things. And your snowball doesn't grow nearly as quickly. Maybe it even melts away completely if the circumstances are bad enough. But just to leave you guys, like I said, the biggest thing that I want you to remember is this fact. Anytime that somebody judges you for something that you're passionate about or something you're pursuing, it means they're jealous of you, plain and simple. That's it. If you can remember that, things will just be easier for you to cope with mentally and emotionally as you're out there pursuing the things you want to do with your life. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Talk again real soon.